Hour.
Hello and welcome back to the Horror Hour, the place where we discuss, debate, and disagree on all things horror. I'm one of your hosts, George, and today it's just me on my own for a review, which is usually extremely unlikely, but the gods have come together and I am here, the gods being Yutaka, who behind the scenes worked very hard to get me a early screening for Evil Dead Rise. Thank you so much, Yutaka. Thumbs up for Yutaka in the comments, please, and like, because he is awesome. And so, yeah, I'm so excited to be able to give you a little non-spoiler review of the movie today after seeing it yesterday. Now, I have to say, disclaimer, the first Evil Dead movie I saw was the Evil Dead remake in 2013. Shock horror. I then went back and watched the rest of the original Evil Dead trilogy. And when I saw the trailer for this movie, I have to say, for some reason, I don't know what it was, but it spoke to me so much that I was like, I need to see this film now. Like, I was so desperate to see this movie. And for me, it's been, aside from obviously Scream 6 that came out, this was my next big, like, I need to see this movie moment of 2023. Let me tell you, it did not disappoint. So this movie is, of course, written and directed by Lee Cronin, who is an Irish director, fantastic director, and he really, really knows what he's doing here. You can see something that I would say is that this gives you all those Evil Dead moments that we love. Again, I don't want to say them because I don't want to spoil the film for you, but it gives you those Evil Dead moments that you love in ways that you don't expect. There were things when stuff started happening, you're like, oh, that's that. You will understand when you see the movie. I know it's really difficult when you listen to someone speaking cryptic, but that's what it is. There are those moments that you are like, I hope they have this in. They have this in, and they do it in a way that's new and exciting. You think, oh, that's such a cool, it reminds me of the franchise, but makes it new. The setting for me, the apartment setting, listen, I'm a huge fan of like the movie Reconcile. I love containment, and this movie feels really contained. With the other Evil Dead, of course, you have the containment of the cabin, but sometimes, they wander off into the woods and you can feel a bit more of a wider universe. With this being in the apartment complex, it feels so hemmed in that you're like, how do we get out of this? It's a really great idea to kind of add a fresh new look and a fresh new style to Evil Dead. And it paid off for me. It really did pay off. The setting feels claustrophobic. Again, you feel like constantly like, how am I going to get out of this? So many things it really does just make it so good. And as I say, adds a fresh new look onto the Evil Dead franchise. The casting here is so great. I mean, you've got a wonderful cast, small but wonderful cast, headed by Lily Sullivan and Alyssa Sutherland, who are both fantastic. Alyssa Sutherland, to me, I'm going to go out here and say it, but Lily Sullivan is absolutely fantastic. Her role is amazing, and she will definitely love her. Alyssa Sutherland, who plays Ellie, one of the best horror performances. Sorry, I was like trying to think there. Horror performances to me ever. She is so brilliant. She really plays a perfect amount between the vulnerability of Ellie and then the horror and the nightmare of the demon. Just so well that you're like, oh my God. It was that one of the first times in an Evil Dead movie to me that I have been like, I really don't know which is which here. She makes some fantastic acting choices with the way that she goes about with some of the words and the way the possession. It's honestly a high praise to everyone involved in the film and to all the cast. They are all brilliant. But to me, Alyssa is an absolute standout, and I really want to go back and just study the way that she does her performance, because to me it is fantastic. The story, great story. Again, it's 97 minutes, which to me was just perfect. Again, I'm very much like David. I don't need no three. I don't need this 3 hourness. An hour and a half is perfect. And for me, this was the perfect amount of time for this film. Had it gone on any longer, I feel I may have been a little bit like, okay, let's wrap it up. But to me, there was really no clock watching in this film, because the beginning, you start off a little bit slow, as most Evil Dead. I mean, the opening doesn't start off slow. But then when we get into the main section, starts off a little bit slow. We're learning about these characters. We're getting some information about them, exactly what's going on. But then when it gets going and like doesn't stop. I know Yutaka is going to be thrilled because the gore in this is chef's kiss. There is a lot of blood. And I went with a friend who is very queasy and was like hiding behind his coat for most of the film. So it really is gory and it's great. I mean, we're all really excited. I know you're all really excited for the greater scene. It's a great scene, and there are so many others that obviously we haven't seen in the trailer that you're just like, oh my god, there's a moment, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a moment in a corridor, you'll know when you see it, that you're just like, what is going on? This is crazy. So good. So absolutely kudos to the VFX team and everyone, and just the visual, all of the effects people, the practical effects and visual effects, because there is so much craziness going on. A lot of people covered in blood, and I bet everyone in that cast was rather sticky by the end of it. There's also an amazing scene which, I don't know, maybe gives The Shining a run for its money. You'll know the scene when you see it. I was like, damn, this really felt great. So I'm trying to like think if there's anything in particular that I didn't enjoy. And right now, after a first watch, there isn't that much. You know, as I say, I think it was the perfect amount of time for what it was. As I said, if it was any longer, may have gone a little bit too long, but Lee was like, no, listen, 97 minutes. Well, not even that, obviously, with the credits. It was like, let's go. Fantastic. They add some really nice elements to the lore and the history of the Evil Dead universe, which I think was really, really cool. I was confused, not in the film, I was interested and confused at first when watching the trailer. How do we get from the cabin to here? How does that story, how does the book, how does everything go on? And there's a really interesting little side story there about that that's great. And I was like, okay, this is fine. I understand it. Great. And because I was like, this is crazy that they're moving it to here, but it makes absolute sense. So it's wonderful. The three kids, we've got Danny, Bridget, and Cassie. Those three, great. They work so well together as like siblings, and you can really see the difference in characters, the difference between Danny and Bridget and Cassie, that they are three different people, and not they haven't just written like, okay, here's three kids and they're all screaming. Like, they all feel like real fleshed out characters that have different opinions on things, different ways of coping with things, and I think it really comes through. As I say, it's not a huge cast, but it doesn't need it. Again, Evil Dead's never really been a huge cast. It's always been a core group of people, and this stays like that. And again, the cast that we have are fantastic. I couldn't recommend this movie enough. Like, I really couldn't. I'm so excited to get it. It's annoying me that I can't see it for another week. I'm like, I need to go see this film again, because there's so much that I want to rewatch having seen it now and pick up on other aspects of it. But like, please go and see this movie. Obviously, it's gory, so if you're not a big fan of gore, listen. It's like entertaining though. The whole movie is entertaining. That's what I will say. I think I wrote that in my tweet. Like, the whole movie, it's like 97 minutes of entertainment, whether that's being scared, laughing, you know, all of the above. Like, there is so much entertainment factor in there that just makes this movie so great. And I'm like, okay, Lee Cronin, where's Evil Dead Rise 2? Like, give it to me now. You know, he is fantastic. Again, there's so much that I want to say about this movie, but it's spoilery, so I won't. I'll leave that for a spoiler review. But it really is. It's going to be a big movie. I feel like it is. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out at the box office and how everyone receives it. I gave it, hey, I've done my letterbox review. So for you guys at home, I've given it a 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. Again, I want to see it again a couple of times to pick up on other aspects and kind of really delve into the details. But really interesting moments, really brilliant cast, brilliant directing. Feels so claustrophobic, so new, but hones back to what we all know and love about the Evil Dead franchise. So I can't say enough about it. If you are going to go and see it, please do. For those of you who don't know, obviously it drops April 21st. So get yourself over to the cinema or the theater if you're in America. Get yourself over, get your tickets now. It's brilliant. It's going to be a fun. I would definitely recommend seeing this film with friends as well. I went with my friend and we had a blast. We were sort of, whispering, going, "Oh my god, this and we had the popcorn." And it's definitely a film to see in the theaters. It's so cool, and I think that go with a gang of people. You'll have a blast. I mean, I'm going back on my own because I love going to theatre on my own, but I recommend for a first viewing, go with friends. You'll have an absolute blast. It'll be hilarious. So yes, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested and you want to see more of us, you can follow us on Patreon. Link is in the description below. You get early access to our main videos, along with extra lives and also our access to our After Hours podcast too. But if not, you can always follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We are at the Horror Hour TV. And until next time. Bye, guys.
You have been listening to the Horror Hour. See you next time.